Alright guys, I'm here to tell you about this awesome priest deck that got me over 20 wins in a row in ranked from fresh and got me all the way to masters in a couple nights of casual play. So check this deck out. It's really overpowered, and the best part about it is that it's pretty much all basic cards. Now on my way up to masters I did change out a couple cards, and I'll explain why in a bit. But I'm going to go through all these cards and why they're so important and how you use them. Holy Smite, deal 2 damage. It's great for controlling the game early on. It only costs 1 mana, and a lot of those early summons only have 2 health, so it helps you prevent the opponent from getting a board advantage early on. Power Word Shield gives you some card draw power. Very, very useful because you need those cards, and the +2 health is a nice bonus too. 1 mana cost, great card to have, especially at the beginning of the game. But even late game, it's not a bad card. It's really easy to play whenever. Sun Cleric, you can pull off some really gimmicky plays with this card. It is awesome. Every time you heal a minion, you can draw a card. Now, as a priest, your hero ability is a heal. And then there's a bunch of other cards in here that heal. And I have seen some of the craziest stuff happen when this is synergized with other healing cards, like AoE healing cards, and I'll talk about that in a bit. Shadow Word Pain is another control card, helps you maintain board advantage early on. Very, very useful. You gotta have 2 of these. These are awesome cards, and it prevents opponents from making plays at the beginning of the game. Really helps protect you when you're facing decks where it's just a mob of minions early on, Murloc decks and pirate decks and stuff like that. Novice Engineer is more card drawing power. You could honestly probably replace this with something else, but I think it's really important to have card drawing power because in the end, if you don't have the cards you need, you're going to lose, unfortunately. And this helps minimize RNG. The more card drawing power you have, the less likely you're going to get screwed by bad draws. River Crocolists are great bang for their buck. 2 mana cost, 2 damage, 3 health. It's a really good card. Just put a little pressure on early. I like to have 2 of them in my deck. You could probably replace it with something else, but I like River Crocolists. Shadow Word Death is one of your most important cards. Only costs 3 mana, and it's like the ultimate counter to players who either buff up minions really crazy fast early on, or Druid decks where they get a ton of mana early on and can bring out really tough cards like Ironbark Protectors. This card lets you fight against that before you could use your next most important card, in my opinion, which is Mind Control, and I'll talk about that in a bit. Thought Steal, you could replace this with something else. I just have a lot of fun with this card. It's cool to Thought Steal like against a rogue and get like assassinate cards and stuff like that, so you get even more control. It's just for fun, and if you really have nothing else to play. Ironfur Grizzlies help protect you early on. You really want these tank cards. 2 Ironfur Grizzlies, and I'll talk about the other tank when we get there. Shattered Sun Clerics, I think this one's pretty replaceable too, but these are kind of cool because they give a friendly minion +1/+1, and when you're playing against other priest decks, which you'll see a lot of in ranked, you'll notice that Shadow Word Pain is destroy a minion with 3 or less attack, and Shadow Word Death is destroy a minion with an attack of 5 or more. So if you get guys like this, you can get people out of that range so that they're immune to priest Shadow Word cards, and it helps you keep pressure up against another priest. That's why I really like this card, and why I really like the next card. That attack value of 4, really good against other priest decks. The only thing that another priest can really do about it is either mind control or just brute force it. So make sure you have some sort of cards that either are 4 attack, or this card that lets you buff minions to possibly getting above 3 attack but below 5 attack. That way you can almost always roll over another priest. I very rarely lose against other priests. Even when I was getting the Diamond League and I was actually finally starting to lose some games, a lot of people play priest decks, and this helps you counter that. Gnomish Inventors, more card drawing power. I think this one's pretty replaceable. I don't like it that much, but card drawing power is not bad. Senjin Shieldmaster, you really want 2 of these. It's a great tank for its mana cost. Really easy to play fairly early on. and it can help protect you if you're getting bad card draws and you really need those mind control cards or those Shadow Word Death cards. Your opponent's starting to play some big cards, and you just need to buy some time. I had a match where these cards saved the match, and I've had more matches where it probably saved the match but wasn't quite as obvious. So you want these tank cards. Holy Nova is a great control card again. I know the heal part of it, it's really gimmicky when paired with Northshire Cleric. That's why a lot of people grab it. But my main thing with Holy Nova is when you go against rush decks where all the opponent is playing is tons of weak cards and getting them out really fast. I know there's a couple hundred decks I've seen like that. This is a great counter for that. 5 mana, it's kind of big, but it can clear the field. I've made some awesome plays with this card. Darkscale Healer, I think this one's pretty replaceable, but ultimately it's a pretty good card considering that it synergizes really well with Northshire Cleric. I once had, I think, 5 cards drawn because I played one of these with a bunch of weakened minions on the field and a Northshire Cleric. So you can make some awesome plays happen with that. Temple Enforcer is just a nice brute force card. 6/6/6. That's funny that it's a Temple Enforcer, yet it's the mark of the beast for its numbers. Either way, gives a friendly minion +3 health, so it's a good card. Mind Control. This is probably the most frustrating card in the game for a lot of players right now. Mind Control lets you take control of an enemy minion, and I've played many matches now where the opponent simply gave up as soon as I played a Mind Control on their key card. It really counters a lot of decks that focus on getting big cards or legendaries out. This is the card that, in my opinion, keeps basic and non-legendary decks competitive against these decks that would essentially cost hundreds of dollars to get if you were to just get them naturally through booster packs. So I'm going to show you guys some gameplay footage. Now keep in mind, I'm not very familiar with TCGs. I'm a big Warcraft fan, and I played Magic the Gathering casually, but I don't know a lot of the terms, and I'm pretty new to this stuff. That's why I found this deck just so attractive and so appealing. It's a simple fact of control for this deck. That's all you really do, is you control and you try to dominate the opponent by not letting him do anything. So check out the gameplay. Tell me what you think. And before we go into gameplay, remember to have fun. If you want to put goofy cards like Gelbin Mechatork in your deck, by all means, put them in. I know I used them from time to time. I'd switch out some of my weaker cards and throw fun cards in. So you can easily make it happen either way. Just have fun. You will make it to Masters if you have a deck that's pretty close to this.